Dear hearts, it is our great joy to see you again, to feel you again, to feel you all peeling away your layers of who you used to believe you were. Because this is the first line of your commitments, and it is the most potent tool to use right now. Because your old identities were all made from a fear paradigm, and they are totally unnecessary, in fact, inappropriate in the world that you are entering. For this is the truth about what humanity have reached right now. There are those who have only just begun to even question, how come I don't feel right anymore when I go down the mall? But there are people such as all of yourselves who are consciously intending and doing the practices to open your hearts to see the truth of what lies inside, that you are all aspects of the divine. For the actual truth is so simple and yet so absolutely profound when you let yourselves truly own it. You are God Incarnate. That's who you are. You are God Incarnate. And every single one are all equally God Incarnate. The degree of experiencing that, which means living in a state of love, bliss all the time, the old floating on a cloud, being angelic with your little wings, it's a symbology for living as and in a state of love, bliss. So this process of cleansing and raising your vibration is all happening with ease and grace when you truly surrender in every moment that a challenge arises. A body purging, a poison on the ankle, slowing down your rampant walking so fast. What's the gift in that? For in every situation, every experience that rises up, which can and used to be viewed as a challenge to resist, or if only that hadn't happened, I'd be better off. That's coming from fear. That's coming from wanting to hide away from anything which might be frightening, might be painful. You see, the art now is that when you choose, as God Incarnate, to no longer shrivel up in your fearful belief in your old version of who you used to believe you were, then all of those uncomfortable, as you call them, moments that arise from whatever cause, when you view each and every one of those from the place of non-judgment, just, oh, right now I've got this really juicy throb in my ankle, so what's the benefit in that? And yes, immediately the mind goes, well, that's not fair, I don't want that. But look at your heart. What's your heart saying? Oh, does that mean you're going to stop running around for a whole day or two? Wouldn't that be a blast? Wow, what more God-given divinity will be reached because you're not being so busy. And for the one who's suddenly had this big purge out of her digestive system is because you have held so much pain inside yourself for so very long about your circumstance, about your would-be family to nurture you who have not, but in fact have done the opposite. Letting all of that be released as a visceral release of all that tension which you suppressed to cope becomes, I surrender. I can't stop my body doing what it's doing. And when you understand, because you're looking at that from your witness position, that this is a release to totally let go, i.e. surrender from all those old ways that you had to protect yourself from all those fears that arose. Because the work you are doing, your divine sound creations, are absolutely God work. When you fully and utterly own the magnificence that you are, you realize that the personality, with all the personality's experiences, all of it can go. It is not necessary anymore. Because the divine is thankful for every experience you've had. And this goes for all of you, dear hearts. Every struggle you've had, every joyful moment you've had, it all goes into the archive. It all goes into the richness of what you are here for. To experience everything. Pain and pleasure, highs and lows, heat and cold, love and not love. But as you fully own that this is the service that you have been doing by God, for God, you reach a place of equanimity, a place of poise, of grace. And each and every one of you who choose, because you can, choose to step into that place of grace, your light quotient, your radiant lighthouse beingness radiates out into the field, and thousands, yes, thousands of those who are still in fear are soothed and helped by your contributions to the great transformation. Because that's what's on the table now. This is the time of the beginning of the golden age. And there will be children and children's children who will have a life of absolute profundity, who will never know the struggles that each and every one of you have suffered your way through. So this is the opportunity, this month particularly, to prepare you for next year, where all of your contributions will be vitally necessary. This month is when you say to everything that arises, thank you, whatever it is. And the more you are able to be in that place of equanimity, of saying thank you for what has arisen, then your lives will change, because you will not have to find that particular lesson again. And in future, when an apparent challenge arises, the invitation is to understand that what is coming into your field is coming because it is all being loosened and released out of people around you. The people who live in the house next door, the person that bumps into you in the shopping centre, the person who's having a really hard time down the road, who's cursing and swearing and using substances and is in a violently horrible space because they are so afraid. That release of fear and trauma and judgment will actually be attracted towards you to be forgiven. Those 6 heart virtues are your toolkit. When you find yourself able to sit in humility, when somebody rings you up full of vituperation, my friend's not my friend anymore because they did this and no, and you've got to hear it all, and you've got to, and the invitation is to say, I hear you, yes, I can feel how much you're hurting, and I cannot play the same game, but I can help you find your own forgiveness, because I live in a state of constant compassion. I live in a state where I am actually employing courage with grace to step through every moment of every day. And from there I can appreciate what is really going on in the world from a higher perspective, where there is no judgment, there is no resistance. There is only the appreciation that when you are in that witness position, you're halfway to your higher self. And this is actually what is now possible for those of you who are choosing this pathway. Your higher self exists in a Christ-conscious state. Christ consciousness means you are conscious of being God. And so you allow that God wisdom to flow down into you and therefore radiate out of you in full abundance, because it's never going to run out. The more you open to allow that cord of connection to become wider and more radiant, it not only heals your bodily and emotional and mental and etheric overlay bodies, it then allows you to be that conductor, that radiator of the divine reality, the pure truth. That is your great service to the awakening, and that is what you have all chosen to do, very self-evidently, by choosing to do a course which is called Awakening and Activating Christ Consciousness Within. And my presence with you is not only to explain and to encourage, but I, from my position, am in awe that all of you are able to find this level of equanimity within yourselves. Because I had my time on earth. I had my time having to suffer the emotional pains of being incarnate. From this exalted position, we cannot feel what you feel bodily. We can see the energy, the flow of those processes, but we don't actually feel it. It is you, angels incarnate, who are actually facilitating the Great Awakening. You are actually facilitating the Great Awakening. And when you let that be owned in your hearts, when you truly surrender all self-administered limitation beliefs, and you experience the wonder of the peace beyond all understanding, which is God consciousness, then you have done what you came here to do. How many countless incarnations you have suffered your ways through, and at the end of all of that, to find yourself in the state of consciousness that you are all in now. We applaud you, we celebrate you, we honor your courage and your capacity to be graceful. This is the truth, dear ones. This is your truth, and it is magnificent. Love yourselves wide open. Be in awe of your own capability to be divine conscious conduits of the divine coherent light, of the God love, of that level of beingness, because you are that already. You are God conscious already. It is only the remnants of old habits, old beliefs, now being flicked off, whether from emotion or from physical apparent disability, debilitation. It's only momentary. It's a releasing, it's a cleansing, it's a healing, spontaneously happening, because you are all choosing to give of your heart space to the all, to the Great Awakening. Thank you all so very, very much. Blessings be, blessings be, blessings be.